Well, I guess we can chill out on Sunday. I mean, we've spent most of the season anxious that West Ham will screw up games and screw up the European campaign. But now that Europe's pretty much in the bag, all we have to hope is that West Ham get at least 1 point on Sunday, and then we're off to the Europa League group stages. Which is exciting, and it's well deserved, of course. But also, there is something in the back of my mind that is saying, what if Everton win 9-0? So please, Man City, just to be sure, to be absolutely sure, batter Everton, okay? The 2020-21 season is upon us this Sunday. It's the last round of fixtures of what has been a very unique season in many ways, not at least because of COVID-19 and the fact that fans haven't been able to be in stadiums. At London Stadium, though, that's going to change this Sunday because 10,000 supporters are going to be there one last time for the season to cheer on West Ham as they take on Southampton. Basically, it's going to be very nice to have fans back in the ground, and the atmosphere is going to be a little bit better than what it has been. One could argue that the fans are needed back in the stadium, and I definitely agree. It's been weird seeing fans away from the ground, but it's what we've had to get accustomed to. And all I ask is that this Sunday, the 10,000 who are attending really get behind West Ham and make as much noise as you can, because it's a chance to see some new signings in action for the first time, and it's also a chance to say goodbye to what has been a really memorable season for West Ham. Sunday's opposition, Southampton, have had a 2021 to forget. Despite starting the first half of this season in really good form and competing for a Europa League place and even a Champions League place at one point, things took a turn for the worse after the new year. Southampton have had a huge fall from grace. And this is not at least because of 14 defeats this calendar year, including another 9-0 loss, because that keeps getting mentioned, the fact they lost 9-0 in back-to-back seasons. First to Leicester last season, then to Manchester United this year. And they've only kept one clean sheet in the Premier League this calendar year as well. So defensively, it hasn't been good for Southampton. They went from competing for Europe to fighting a mini relegation battle. I never thought Southampton would go down. They haven't. They've managed to stay up. But the fact that they went from the highs to the very lows very quickly must have been quite a worrying time for their fans. I like Ralph Hasenhüttl as a manager. He likes to imitate Klopp's gegenpressing system. And Southampton have the players to counter-attack. West Ham do have a good track record against Southampton, though. Did the double over them last season, and we did it quite impressively when we played them at the London Stadium last season. In fact, when we beat Southampton 3-1 in March 2020, that was the last game before the lockdown commenced. So this is like it's like, well, how do I put it this way? It's like the last game before COVID and the last game towards the end of COVID have both been against Southampton. So it's kind of a coincidence, if you ask me, that we're playing Southampton in two key stages of this pandemic. One before it started and one towards what is considered the end or towards the end of the pandemic, given that the UK is reopening. First and foremost, James Ward-Prowse has to be talked about. Definitely deserves a call-up to the England team for the Euros because of his leadership qualities, his values as a midfielder, and the fact that he's a really good set-piece taker. He's one of the most underrated free-kick takers in the Premier League, in my opinion, because of how good he is at shooting from close range and how good he is at curling the ball. Ward-Prowse is a fan favourite at Southampton. He's been there since a young boy, and the fans are backing him to be a success with the England team, and I definitely agree with him. I think he's got a bright future in the national setup with Southgate in charge. James Ward-Prowse is one favourite at Southampton, but another player who's been just as much loved is striker Danny Ings. 12 goals in 26 appearances this season and has scored goals in big games, notably a 1-0 win over Liverpool, which sent manager Ralph Hasenhüttl on the ground crying and passionate with emotion because of that win. Ings is a local lad, having grown up in the Southampton area and lived in southern Hampshire for most of his life. His family's still based there. He's been a success at Southampton ever since he joined them permanently. He won Player of the Year for the team in his first full season as a permanent signing for the Saints. And this season, he's on the cards to repeat that as well. He's a very good striker who has been linked with West Ham. And I can see why West Ham would take someone like Danny Ings, but personally, he's not my first choice. Despite the fact that he's a goal scorer, he is 29 years old and he has had knee injuries in the past. I like Danny Ings, he's a great player, but I wouldn't take him at West Ham. He's better off at Southampton. Stuart Armstrong is a very reliable midfielder for Southampton, not at least because he's a good attacker. He likes to dribble with the ball and run into the box a lot. His contribution to goals this season and his offensive presence have led to him being called up to the Scotland national team. Scotland's going into its first international tournament in 22 years. Armstrong has fully deserved that. And I think that with the way the Scotland setup's going and how things are developing there, he's replicating that in the Premier League, and it's helping him to grow as a player and to be a big performer for Southampton. Our very own Michail Antonio played for Southampton at one point in his career. Antonio was only 19 years old when he was loaned out to Southampton from Reading. At the time, Southampton was a League One club and had Alan Pardew as manager. Antonio played 28 league games and scored 6 goals. He also scored in the 4-1 Johnson Paint Trophy win over Carlisle to win Southampton that tournament. It was his first real piece of silverware as a player. Following his loan spell at Southampton, he had loan spells at Colchester United and Sheffield Wednesday, made his deal at Sheffield Wednesday permanent, went to Nottingham Forest, then West Ham signed him in 2015 for £7 million. Coincidentally, he scored his first West Ham goal against Southampton in December 2015 in a 2-1 victory. And I guess it's just weird how things work out. How he went from playing against Southampton to scoring against Southampton in the Premier League. And he's only 2 goals away from being West Ham's all-time top Premier League goal scorer. It's just weird how things work out, I guess. Quite confident about this one, really, because, like I say, we have a good track record against Southampton. I'm going to say a 2-0 win to the Irons, and I expect us to get the job done. Like I've said earlier, pressure's off for this game, really, because we have still technically qualified for Europe. It couldn't be officially confirmed after Sunday. We just got to get at least 1 point, but I'm going for all 3 because, we have a good track record against Southampton, basically. 2-0 win for the Hammers. Thank you very much for watching Opposition Uncovered. If you liked the video, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe for more content. Aftermath is coming on Sunday. It's going to be the last one of the season, and you'll get to hear me do the final post-game show of this season. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. I'll see you all soon.